Okay, now we're going to talk about the second 9, objective 10, which deals with putting different types of linear equations into y equals mx plus b. Our description is get the y by itself. Now again, what we're doing here is we're trying to take linear equations and it could be in standard form, could just be rewritten a little differently, and trying to write them. So we're taking linear equations and we're going to try to write them in slope-intercept form. Now you may ask, well, why are we doing this? What's so good about the slope-intercept form? The slope-intercept form is the easiest form to graph out of. And we'll get into that in a future lesson. But if we can have it in slope-intercept form, then it's very easy to graph. So that's why we're going to practice. Usually anytime we want to graph something, we want to get it in slope-intercept form. So the first example says put in y equals mx plus b 6x plus 3y equals 12. Now I'm going to show you a couple different ways how you can show your work on this and let you decide which one works for you. But again, we're trying to get the y by itself. So in this case, I'm trying to get y by itself. So it's not by itself because we got a positive 6x and a 3 in front of the y. So similar to how we would solve an equation, I need to get rid of the 6x first. So to get rid of a 6x, I would subtract 6x from both sides. Now the reason I'm not lining up the 6x underneath the 12 is because these are not like terms. 6x minus 6x would cancel. So I'd have 3y equals, now since we want to write it in mx plus b form, I want to put the x term first. So since it was minus 6x, I'm going to put negative 6x. The 12's positive, so plus 12. Again, y is not by itself yet because I have that 3 in front. So that means 3 times y. So I've got to divide everything by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I have y equals negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, so negative 2x. Plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that's one way to show your work. If you don't like showing it like that, or if that's a little confusing, we can also think of it like, I still want to get the y by itself. There's no way around that when we want to put it in slope-intercept form. But in order to do that, I need this 6x here. I need to put it on the other side of the equal sign. If you change something on the other side of the equal sign, you have to change the sign. So I used to teach this as, okay, if we change side, and when I say that I mean change side of the equal sign, we have to change sign. So I didn't change the side of the 3y, so it's going to stay 3y. I moved the positive 6x to the other side, so it became a negative 6x. The 12 stayed there, and it's plus 12. So now I still have to get the y by itself, so I would still divide everything by 3 to get y equals negative 2x plus 4. Again, you're not going to get a different answer. Some people just understand or think it's easier to show the moving and the change side, change sign, rather than doing the opposite of the x to both sides. It doesn't matter to me as long as one of those ways makes sense, and that's fine. Now if we look at a few more examples here. So we got negative 4x minus 8y equals 24. So again, find the y that we're trying to get by itself. So I have to get rid of the minus 4x. So I have to add 4x to both sides. Again, not lining those up because they're not like terms. Negative 4x plus 4x is 0. I got negative 8y equals 4x plus 24. Again, the y still isn't by itself here. So I divide everything by negative 8. So negative divided by negative makes that positive y. Now, 4 over 8 is actually a half. And I know the negative sign's on the bottom. When you have a negative number in front of x, I usually just put the negative out in front. Now, you could leave it as 4 over 8. It's better to make sure you understand to reduce that to a half. So minus a half x, and then 24 divided by negative 8 is negative 3. Again, if you want to do it the other way, where we'd have negative 4x minus 8y equals 24, and you want to just think about moving that to the other side of the equal sign, then okay, you'd have negative 8y because you didn't move it, equals, you move the negative 4 to the other side, so it becomes a positive 4x plus 24, and then divide everything by negative 8, which is still going to give you the same, y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, now example 3 says 4y equals negative 3x minus 16. Looking at that, you may say, well, why is that not in slope-intercept form? The y is on one. Okay, and looking at 4y equals negative 3x minus 16, you may say, well, why is that not in slope-intercept form? It looks like the y is by itself. The reason is we have that 4 in front of the y. So again, to get it in slope-intercept form, there can be nothing else in front of the y. So we divide both sides by 4. So that cancels, and I get y equals negative 3 over 4. Just leave it as a fraction. So negative 3/4 x. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. And again, I'm not going to show you the other way. This way, on example 3, there's really only one way to do that. In example 4, negative 2x minus y equals 11. So again, we're trying to get the y by itself. So I have to add 2x to both sides and bring down the negative y equals 2x plus 11. And again, the y is not by itself because it has that negative sign, which is an imaginary negative 1. So I have to divide everything by a negative 1, which would make it y equals negative 2x minus 11.